Welcome to this webinar, which provides insights into partnership with parents with a focus on parents. These insights take account of research and are drawn from inspectors' findings in early learning and care settings, as well as the guidance provided by inspectors to settings to promote improvement. All of the advice provided in this webinar should be considered in light of the prevailing public health guidelines which apply in educational settings. It is recognised that children come from diverse family backgrounds and structures. Throughout this webinar, we use the word parent to refer to the child's primary educator and their main carer. High-quality settings consistently go to great lengths to work in partnership with parents to benefit children's learning and development. This webinar provides examples of how this might look for you, the parent. It includes some helpful ideas on working collaboratively with practitioners to support your child on their lifelong learning journey. In addition, it includes some suggestions as to how you as a parent might increase your participation in or become more involved in your child's learning at their setting. You are the most important and influential people in your child's life. As parents, you are your child's first teacher and their primary educator. You are the person who knows them best. In high-quality settings, inspectors often observe that practitioners proactively consult with and involve parents in their child's learning and development. This two-way collaborative process enhances children's learning. Through sharing of information between practitioners and parents, you may get an idea for a play activity or experience that you and your child might like to do at home. This could be a baking activity that you can do with your child, or it might involve a story to read together at bedtime. In addition, inspectors frequently note that practitioners organise learning activities at the setting following parents sharing their child's interests, experiences, and developing skills. For example, following a conversation between a parent and practitioner about the child's visit to the zoo and their keen interest in the polar bears, the practitioner may facilitate a play activity to extend this emerging interest. We also affirm practice where practitioners seek parents' views and opinions to enhance children's learning experiences at the setting. A shared responsibility and decision-making process between parents and practitioners is really beneficial to young children's well-being and learning. Inspectors acknowledge the value of reciprocal interactions. They comment on the warm and interactive conversations they observe between parents and practitioners and the opportunities provided for informal and formal communications. We will now move on to consider what you may expect to happen once you have enrolled your child. Inspectors often see how practitioners' highly effective interactions and communications foster and promote parental involvement. This happens from the moment a parent makes an initial inquiry about a place for their child. Inspectors frequently find that practitioners organise these visits to introduce themselves and the setting to parents and children. Examples include an open day, when parents and children meet other children, parents and the practitioners. In some cases, children visit the learning room for a short period to experience some of the play activities. Another popular introduction involves children attending a summer camp before they start the preschool year. In some cases, practitioners visit children in their home and chat about and look at photographs at what happens in the setting. All of these different visits will help you to familiarise yourself with the learning environments and the practitioners who will be working directly with your child. In highly effective settings, these visits are arranged to suit parents' needs. There may be questions you have now that your child is due to start a setting. What will my child be learning? What will their daily routine look like? Inspectors often observe that meetings are organised to enable practitioners share practical and relevant information with parents. If you do attend such a meeting, typically you will hear all about the learning programme, the curriculum, and the day-to-day routines. It is really important for parents to receive a hard copy or digital copy of the Parents' Handbook where it is available. Generally, the handbook includes information on the daily routine, the curriculum, and relevant policies and procedures. In high-quality settings, we often find that arrangements are in situ to provide information for parents in different languages. Systems for sharing information about your child will include a registration or application form. In addition, you may be asked to complete an All About Me form or similar form. This will include key information such as the names of family members, your child's friends, their likes, dislikes, and their current interest. Inspectors have found that practitioners effectively use this valuable information to prepare for children's arrival to the learning room and support initial curriculum plans. We will now discuss settling in strategies. Inspectors affirm sensitive settling in strategies that help children experience smooth and easy transition into the setting or a new learning room. For example, we frequently see practitioners using a phased settling in approach, where parents are welcomed to and encouraged to stay with their child until they are settled. Inspectors affirm practices in high-quality settings where parents are contacted to let them know as to how their child has settled. Inspectors also note that practitioners consult with parents and agree a plan of action when it is time for children to move to another room within the setting. You might like to hear more about children's transitions. There are links to our webinar on transitions on the final slide. Now, let's take a minute to think about the people who will be working with your child in their learning room. Typically, the number of practitioners in a learning room will depend on the room size, the number of children, and the adult-child ratio. Generally, practitioners will work with and get to know all the children in their learning room. In many settings, inspectors find that a key person approach is used. This approach is one in which each practitioner develops a secure relationship with a small group of children and acts as a link between the setting and the parents of these children. The key person is usually responsible for assessing, documenting, and planning for this group of children's learning. Usually, the key person will be the main practitioner that you will liaise with about your child. Inspectors acknowledge the importance of positive interactions between parents and practitioners at arrival time and home time. We often find that these times are used as natural opportunities for parents to go into the learning room, to chat with the practitioner or their child's key person. It might also be a time when your child shares their achievements, learning experiences, artwork, or photographs with you. Inspectors frequently find that parents are proactively consulted as the primary educators of their child and involved as partners in their child's learning and development at varying levels. Research has shown that when parents become involved in the learning at the setting, this supports their child's sense of identity and belonging. It helps children to develop an appreciation of themselves as individuals and as members of their family and their community. Inspectors affirm this inclusive practice. For example, we often see parents bringing in photographs for the family wall and items from home which are used during learning experiences. Other examples of how you can support your child's sense of identity and belonging include you sharing information on your family's culture or providing translation for words such as mammy, daddy, toilet in the language spoken at home. In high-quality settings, inspectors note that parents are regular visitors to their child's setting. Typically, these visits include parents sharing their interest or skills with the children. For example, this might entail parents reading a story and, in some instances, reading a story in a child's home language. Other visits might involve you attending a play day where you stay and join your child in their play activities. In addition, there may be special occasions such as an end-of-term celebration which bring children, families, and the practitioners together. This is a really great way for you as a parent to meet other parents. You may have noticed how excited children get when they are going on trips. As a parent, you might be invited to accompany your child on organized trips to places of interest in the locality, such as the playground, park, or further afield, like to a museum or the seaside. Frequently, inspectors find that parents' views and opinions are sought, valued, and acted upon. A key element of this collaborative process entails parents sharing their views, giving feedback on activities and about what happens in the setting. There are many ways this may happen, which include informal and formal discussions, surveys, questionnaires, and a comment or suggestion box. Further examples of partnership with parents that we observe include parents sharing their time and expertise, such as helping out with a garden project or an art and craft exhibition. In addition, parents may be involved in the development and review of the setting's policies and procedures, or be a member of the Parents' Committee or the Board of Management when in operation. We will now move on to consider how information on children's learning is shared between practitioners and parents. Inspectors recommend that parents and practitioners communicate on an ongoing basis regarding children's learning, progress, interests, and their individual needs. For example, we see this happening through informal discussions, formal one-to-one meetings between parents and their child's key person and other practitioners. Following consultation between parents, a child's key person or practitioner and the manager, it may be agreed that the child requires additional assistance to fully participate in the learning program. Inspectors often note that settings frequently work in collaboration with parental consent to access extra support from the Access and Inclusion model where appropriate. This is a national program designed to ensure that children with specific needs have access to supports to help them to participate fully alongside their peers. In addition, the practitioner might support you to link in with an external professional, such as a speech and language therapist, to help your child's speech and language development. All these communication strategies enrich the valuable co-sharing of information about your child as a learner and your involvement in the next steps to progress their learning. Practitioners use a variety of assessment methods to record, document, and share children's learning and progress with parents. The assessment records you may receive about your child include observation records, learning journals, individual and group learning stories. These records could also include samples of the children's artwork, with their comments transcribed and or photographs of their experiences. In highly effective settings, children independently add to the content of their learning records. Parents and other members of the family are often invited to comment on these learning records and also add to the content. In some instances, practitioners use electronic and social media application to share children's learning with parents. Inspectors frequently affirm practitioners' commendable use of a variety of communication mechanisms to engage with parents. These may include notice boards and newsletters to inform parents on what is happening at the setting. We often see how visual displays of the children's artwork is successfully used as a means to share children's learning with parents. Frequently, inspectors observe children taking great pride in sharing their achievements and masterpieces on display with their parents. And finally, you may be able to use your child's comment about their artwork or information shared in the newsletter or on the notice board to reinforce learning at home. For example, sowing sunflower seeds with your child similar to what they did as part of a nature activity in the setting, as shared in the monthly newsletter. Here is a list of further information and resources which may support you further. This brings us to the close of the webinar. We would like to thank you for listening. We hope it provides helpful advice. If you have direct queries or comments arising from your engagement with this webinar, please use the dedicated email address provided to send your comments to us. insights_info@education.gov.ie